Ah,
Welcome to Earth2 Comic Cast for Superheroes Exist, and comic book talk is the norm. I'm your host, Mo Crosby. If you could tell by the what do I call this background? I don't know. We're talking WandaVision, and of course, with me today to discuss WandaVision is the man, the myth, the legend,
that's right. Kyle
Dr.
XY.
KB, Kyle XY,
That's
Trap
right.
God with the dad bod,
Man.
all of that. All right, so the episode today is, what's the episode called? A very
The Halloween Spooktacular.
a Halloween Spooktacular.
Yeah, all right. So off the bat, the last two episodes were great, right? Like great TV. Like
Facts.
honestly, it's weird because it, they're shooting these movies, shooting these TV shows with movie quality, right? Like it's something about the finish and everything that looks like an MCU movie, but it's a TV show. But this episode, I can't even say that it was good. Like actually, that's what I will say. It was okay slash good, but that's it. It wasn't great.
Okay, great that you say that. So I am of the belief that this episode was very okay. I didn't think it was great. I didn't think it was good. I just thought it was a very okay episode. So my mom said, "How you guys doing?" Hey, mom, we're
Hi,
doing
mom.
good. Thank you very much for watching. She is, if nobody else watches any show that we do, she will always watch it. So thank you very much, mom.
Hey, let's throw it up real quick for mom. It's Valentine's Day. Let's throw it up real quick for mom.
Right. I owe her a gift. Don't even find her. So I am unlike you, Kyle. I just thought it was a very regular episode. I thought it was something. It's something that I've been talking about a lot, right? I've been saying that WandaVision has been looking like it should have been like an hour-long show.
Yeah, I feel the same.
And so I'm looking at this like, oh, okay, well, when it ends, right? For last week it ended on a high, right?
It ended perfect. Like it ended with a cliffhanger that was perfect. It was perfect.
And that works. So I'm thinking maybe moving forward, because you don't have to have every episode end that way, and it's kind of like asking the show to do a lot. One, end that way, and two, be something great, like say like last week was. But this episode felt very hollow. It felt like there was more, but they didn't have. You couldn't finish it inside of the 30 minutes. It was about 35 minutes, right, give or take.
Yeah,
including the previously on WandaVision, and then the intro, which I thought was cool. So we're looking at what, 90s, late 90s kind of style TV.
Yeah,
now?
It was like Malcolm in the Middle-esque.
Yeah, so early 2000s, late 90s, right?
All right, but so correct me if I'm wrong. Originally, when Disney/Marvel announced this show, there was supposed to have been 6 episodes ordered.
Yes, an hour-long episodes for 6, and then COVID happened.
So this episode would have been the finale, but I think when the cutting room happened and they needed more content, they had to spread it out. So that's why we have the 30 minutes. I think this episode technically would have been episode 2 or 3, like part of it. Like I think the back half of like episode 2 or 3.
That would work, because if you're looking at it, it would work. It would work that way. It was again. It was an okay episode.
It was okay, but it was like it seemed like it was a part of something.
And so it just. So now the question to you is, let's talk about the episode, because I do have an important question that I'm gonna ask you, for you to answer as a non-MCU fan. As an MCU fan, I'm gonna ask you that question at the end. So let's talk about the episode in itself. So Pietro is now fully involved in the family, the cool Uncle Pietro. Not the Pietro we know from this universe, it's the Pietro from the Fox universe. So,
but is
again, you see, because again, that Pietro has a mom that's still alive.
Well, the Pietro Quicksilver from the Fox universe does.
Yeah,
I'm not sure if this is Fox's Quicksilver.
No, it's not. It's probably just
it's somebody else. Yeah, it's a face. because the mannerisms and the behavior was definitely not the one
this
from
is
Days of Future
MC.
Past.
Yeah, this is MCU Pietro because Foxman Pietro is a little different. Yes, he's kooky, but I think they have the same mannerisms when it comes to
Actually, I don't. He was
MCU.
he was he was way darker than the Pietro from Days of Future Past. His sense of humor and everything was darker.
He feels more like MCU's Pietro, if you ask me, because we've only seen Pietro and MCU on
Days of
AOU.
Future Past, but
No, AOU.
Age of Ultron, right?
Yeah,
But in that one, he wasn't dark.
I
You
mean
get what
he
I'm
didn't,
saying?
but did he really speak though?
Right. He was warmer, but it wasn't. But this was dark. Like, oh, well, you can't die twice, and like it seemed like he was almost fourth wall breaking in the
I think
show.
you know what.
That
Then
that
I think
that's
that's what
not
his purpose was. I think his purpose was to. So this is my thought of the show, right? So, I'd gone back and forth with whether Wanda was the one controlling stuff. Yes, now I know for a fact she is the one controlling everything. That is what this episode has showed you. But it also showed you that she's not the one who started this.
no.
So while she's the one that's in charge right now, she's not the one who started this. Someone manipulated her for her to feel Vision's loss so heavy that she's doing what she's doing and she has to protect him. Because by the end of the episode, oh, I'm sorry, we're 6 minutes in. We're going to be spoiling this episode. So if you haven't seen it, click off and go watch something else or
Yeah, go
watch the
click
show
off.
and come back.
Bye.
Yeah. Well, at this point, we've told you everything. Just stay and watch. Don't click off. Don't click. Just stay and watch.
Yeah.
Subscribe while you're at it. Share, like. Did I do that right?
Like and share, and like, follow us on all social media. We'll get to that at the end.
Right.
Awesome show. You're welcome.
Right. So what I'm thinking is, so we're here, right? And inside of what is going on in this universe, right? So she's the one controlling what's going on Westview, but she's not the one who started it. So that's what this episode has done. That's what this episode has shown. I'm with that now. So I'm still. My initial theory was she started all of this and she's in control. Then I switched to someone is controlling all of this, including her. But no, they're not controlling her right now. They just manipulated her in the beginning. So who did I say it was last week? Mojo?
Yeah. Last week you said
I'm jumping off Mojo's bus. I'm jumping on Mephisto.
Right. So that's where I'm actually at. So when I look at Quicksilver, because to me he's not Pietro.
Right. He's super dark.
Yeah, this guy, and it's not Quicksilver. So to separate the two universes, Quicksilver, for sake of this show that we're doing right here, Quicksilver is Fox Universe, Pietro is MCU.
Right.
Well, MCU proper at this point, because as we go into multiverse, we're going to have to really specify which universe is which universe. So for right now, MCU proper. So
MCU Prime?
MCU Prime, I like that. Horde Prime. but as far as this Quicksilver that we saw today, that was not Quicksilver from Days of Future Past.
Yeah, that is not Quicksilver.
All the other bad X-Men.
To me, that's Pietro.
Yeah. No, and to me that's Mephisto.
I will tell you, with a face. I think it's Pietro, but it's Pietro with Pietro, right, being controlled by someone else. So I'll go with that, right?
Yeah.
Outside of the Hex, right, there are things happening. The new director of Sword, the director of Sword, Hayward or Hayworth?
Yeah, Hayward.
Okay, he's being a dickhead. Obviously, just like every special agent in any kind of show like this would be. He confronts Monica and says to her, "You're on the side of the superpowers, and we know." And then he's like, "Yeah, I know of your connection between you and Captain Marvel." 1, 2. This is, I think they're foreshadowing her to Photon Spectrum. At this point.
Yeah,
Spectrum.
Well, same hero, different names. Yeah,
right.
Because she has 3 different names. She's Captain Marvel at one point. She's Spectrum.
Yeah, she is Captain Marvel at one point.
Yeah.
So I think they're foreshadowing her because the second time that the reason I think they're foreshadowing her is when she's talking to Darcy and she's like, "I'm gonna go back in the Hex," and Darcy's like, "Don't do it. Yeah, don't do it. So you're being changed." And apparently, I think she thinks it's cancer, but again, the Hex is.
Well, her mom had cancer. So
her mom
I'm
had cancer, so
I'm thinking
automatically she
whatever
thinks she's
happened in
there.
space. Yeah. So whenever
Right,
they were in space or whatever like that, I'm sure she thinks whatever she was exposed to with Captain Marvel, whatever like that, is
right.
cancerous to him.
But I think, the hex is also an infinity. It's created by Wanda, who was touched by an infinity stone. So at this point, Captain Marvel's an infinity stone and all of that good stuff. I think we're going to get into that mix up with her. I think we'll see her power at this point. Two, so those are two things where I feel like they're foreshadowing. They're just throwing it in our face now at this point. I mean, the first time they threw it in our face was when we saw her call sign on her plane.
Yeah.
Or her jet was Photon, and it's Captain Monica Photon Rambo. But anyways, back to the episode itself. I think so why I at first when I was watching it, I thought there's no way like Pietro is her is I was thinking, so everything that's happening inside of Westview, right? It's kind of like they're playing what's happening in her mind. I think what's happening is she's controlling everything, and Pietro is there to kind of like be like the conscience to kind of pull her out of it. That's what I thought was going on, because he was asking all these questions like, how did this start? Like he's the consciousness inside of her, like saying, "Yo, wake up," kind of thing. I think that's what when I was watching it at first, I thought that's what he was there to do. But you made, when you said it could be Mephisto, when I said that, I thought about the fact that it could be Mephisto. I was like, you know what? This is some shit that he would do.
Yeah, he's definitely antagonizing. He's
Right.
antagonizing.
So while
Yeah.
it one sounds like he's like, yo, I got your back. Like, how did this start? Let me try to help you. Let me be cool. Like, the second part of it is he might be a dickhead and he might be just antagonizing her, controlling her.
And you know why I feel that way?
Why? Go ahead.
Strongly. So at early in the episode, when he was in the house, I was feeling like, dude, this is Mephisto-esque. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
And when she asked him a specific question about some kid with bad skin, and he couldn't answer the question, and he'd, oh, you're testing me. I'm like, that's Mephisto. Like
Right. And
you
then at
can't give
first,
context. And then the commercial about
yes.
feeding on your magic. I was like, okay, you're letting us know, like you're definitely winking to the audience, like, yes, we know that you know. We want you to know that you're correct. This is
Yeah,
some
and then it
that
was
you're using
it
her
was
magic.
a bunch of other things. So so after I sat on the episode, I watched it the first time, I watched it the second time, and I sat on it, I was like, damn, Kyle is gonna be right. And I hate that Kyle is gonna be right.
You're
Fuck.
welcome.
No. Um but I mean, for a not so great episode, what this episode did was Easter eggs. Was that commercial Easter egg, the testing me thing, and showing, and then it just showed you that she's in control of the hex, because at the end of the episode, first things first is the twins literally have their powers.
Yeah, they have so we now have witnessed our firstborn mutants in the MCU.
Right. I mean,
Yeah.
hold on. Yeah, because are they real? Aren't they? I think it's a technical at this point. I'm not gonna 100%.
Well, she did. Well, we got a disposition from Monica earlier in a couple episodes ago where she said everything that happens in there is real. Like she did give birth to those kids, so she did say that.
Right.
So if
So
that's the case,
we
we
have
got
our
our
got our
firstborn mutants.
mutants, right? Because at this point, no other soup has kids, right? Except maybe Iron Man, but you can't call him. He's not.
He's not a suit.
Yeah, he's not a soup. He's just a regular guy, rich. He's Batman.
Well, we really don't know if Cap has a son yet.
We don't, and
Because
that
in
would
the comics, Cap has a
yes,
son.
he does. So maybe he went back. We'll see. I think Falcon Winter Soldier is the next show coming up, so that might be the next thing. Um, I think there's a lot that is supposed to happen, and I think we're getting like really short itty bitty clips, and I don't like that. I wish we were getting
A full
a
realized
full
episode.
right, and that would be awesome if that's what we're doing. But again, I'm not gonna complain because I like it.
It's better than that one crap show that we watch, Lovecraft Country, garbage,
Oh
trash.
my god, anything to bring up
Yeah.
Lovecraft Country. Yeah, I like this show. I just don't like how I don't like how it's edited. I don't like how it's cut, because it's starting to be bothersome to watch.
Yeah. It's poorly Actually, I don't want to say it's poorly. It's put together with a lot of. You can tell they did not waste a budget on this. Like
No,
they
no.
put
I
some
mean,
real good
building
money
the
in.
show is
Yeah,
awesome.
the writing is good. It's just the whole cutting and pasting. Like
Yes, it's
this
the
should have been an
watching
hour episode.
experience. Yes, the watch experience is being limited by the way it's being cut.
Yeah,
Again, not a big issue. It's a nit to me. It's a nitpick, but it's an issue enough to where, you know, where so
it's
a
my issue
friend
with
called
Walking Dead. It was my issue with Walking Dead.
right.
Like
A friend.
Walking Dead. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
No, 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 go ahead, go ahead.
Now, I was saying my issue with Walking Dead always was you have a great show with good thought content, and you're butchering it for the sake of they have all these advertisers because at one point in time, Walking Dead was the most watched show on TV, so all advertisers wanted to jump and flock on there. So you
Mhm.
went from having a legit 45 to 47 minutes of content to now 23 minutes worth of content with tons of advertisements to make it an hour long filler on TV. It
Right,
was like, dude, this
right,
sucks. And that's what this show
right.
kind of is.
Right. And it's unfortunate. Again, a good show looks good, great content, just not, all in all, not the best way to watch this show. But I mean, all that aside, the episode actually to me was the best looking one. It was the best looking episode to me personally, because again, the set pieces, the costumes, I mean, even when you got to the edge of the town, right, of
Mhm.
Westview, and you could tell it was, you could, but it still didn't stand out and look like it didn't look like a movie city, a movie
Yeah.
town, a movie. It looked like a real subdivision, like somewhere where I grew up in, and I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. It's a whole set.
Mhm.
It's a set. It's a sound, like, I'm not gonna call it a sound stage, but it's an outdoor set. But it looked really good.
Yeah, they did a
Um,
great job.
so, and then Vision walking through the hex and then breaking up in pieces
Oh,
because
that
the
was
hex is pulling
horrible.
them back. That looked amazing. So this is where the show, I think, has also taken a turn, right? Because it went from slapstick show, right, from episode 1. It went from slapstick, happy-go-lucky, funny, like I Love Lucy, to like, the beginning of this episode was like, as you said, Malcolm in the Middle, and it finished with a really, really crazy thriller, almost horror element, right?
Like Buffy.
Yes.
It did finish kind of Buffy-ish.
Right. So we've talked about the Hex, we've talked about Wanda, we've talked about Vision, we've talked about Pietro. No, we've not talked about Vision. So Vision lied to Wanda.
Yeah.
Vision lied to Wanda so he could go investigate stuff. And she didn't necessarily find out. She was, entertaining her brother, who was entertaining the kids. And that thing, that whole brother sister with the kids, I like that. I like that a little bit. I was like, okay, it's a break from like the greater show, but it as you said, it was something that was done. He kept saying things and antagonizing her and pushing her, like, just to test her to see where she's going. Like when she said, oh, this is like the one time where, where she came down in a costume and he said to her, this is like the worst costume you have. I'm sorry. This is
Sorry.
The worst costume you have, like when mom made the ones for us back in Sokovia. And they showed, they did a cutback, and then after the cutback they showed him, they showed both of them. She was like, I don't remember it like that.
How
That
does
was
she remember that? How does she see the cutback? That was like almost Family Guy-esque. Like
right.
in a
That
funny
was
way. Like
100% Family Guy. It was 100% Family Guy. I'm sorry.
because I didn't even put two and two together till you said it. Like, wait a minute, she did see the cutaway.
Yeah, they both
Like
saw
that
it.
was weird.
Or it could have
That
been
was
something
weird.
where he described it and then they showed it to us.
Okay.
Let's go with that. He described it and they showed it to us. So that's the thing. I like that their dynamic. I thought we were gonna get more of that, but we got Vision investigating. We got Vision meeting Agnes on the edge of the town, and that was kind of dark. That was the darkest, one of the
I feel like
darkest.
Agnes was placed. So I'm still
Yes.
going with Agnes is Agatha Harkness, right?
Okay.
And as Vision pointed out last episode, as many of us theorize, she always pops up with just the thing that Wanda and Vision needs at the right moment, right? just
Yeah.
like she popped up with just what Vision, just to help Vision along with his curiosity, because
Mhm.
she definitely saw last episode that Vision was curious. You know, like when she came over to the house and Vision's questioning Vision's asking Wanda, "Why are you doing this? Why are you using your powers in front of her?" All that kind of stuff, and she said, "Oh, she doesn't know this." I think Agnes is like playing along with Vision. Like, for what reason would Agnes be on that part of town? Like, she was looking for the town square, which we've already seen the town square. The
Mhm.
town square is definitely not affected by is not at the outer rim of the town, where it seems like the show's trying to establish that's the length of Wanda's powers, is that far part of town. Like, and like they just show like those people are just like extras. Like they're not actually doing stuff. They're like, when you play a video game and you go like to the far reach of something, a town or something in a video game, like it's animation, but it's like just copy paste same movements over and over again. And like, so for Vision, he's like, wait, what's going on over here? And then it just so happens Agnes is over there. Like, why is Agnes over there? And she's talking about, oh, I'm actually trying to get to the town square. And he's like, you've been living here your whole life. How did you get lost trying to get to the town square? He touches Agnes, and all of a sudden, Agnes is like, oh, it's Wanda, blah, blah, blah. I'm sorry. I just feel like that's more of her just feeding into Vision. I just feel like she's placed there.
Right. You're one of the Avengers. Like that. Yeah, she was there. She was there. It was definitely done on purpose, and she just stayed there for a second. Yeah, that whole conversation that's happening right now.
Hmm.
That I liked it though. That was
Yeah, I
something
like
that
it.
I really that was something that I thought was stand out from the episode, and I really really enjoyed. Um, so yeah, the other thing was, so when Vision investigates that part of town, looks at the street. It's funny that he looked at the street name, because that is the street name the mom yelled at the kids, "Hey, you can go as far as X, Y, and Z, but you can't go to Elk Ridge or whatever the name of this, the crossing was. Don't get to that street." And my thing was, so Vision, Wanda is powerful enough to control so this is the two-parter, right? Is she powerful enough to control everybody, or she just controls the people that she needs to control because this is the part of town I live in?
All right, so we're going by what this show's establishing, right? Not
Mhm.
comic book. So as far as what the show's establishing, we really don't know the extent of her power,
Right.
and we're
Right.
learning
As we
by
go.
episode how powerful she really is.
Right.
She definitely is powerful enough to have everybody there in costume, control everybody in the town to an extent. But as far as the people that have quote unquote roles, rather reoccurring one
Mm.
time, those people are, you see more animation like Herb and so on and so forth.
Right,
Um,
right. Okay, well
but
that makes sense.
the extras, they're just doing like the
Oh,
lady
they're just
putting up
they're
the,
just extras for now, because
yeah.
again, if you need them, then because again, that's the thing. Pietro did ask, "Oh, where did you get these kids?" Because I didn't think there were kids in this town. Something Vision asked the episode prior was like, "Where are the kids? How come our children are the only children in town?" But she needed them for Halloween, and boom, they're here. So they may have been in bed, or just like the extras, right? Just moving along and just doing things by themselves, and until she needed them. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense, actually. I don't know why I didn't think about that. So while so outside, Monica, Wu, and Darcy are fired. Hayward removed them from his task force or whatever, because they are suspicious of him. Even now, I'm starting to be suspicious of him, because at first I thought he was just the overzealous agent,
Yeah.
but I think there's more to it.
Yeah, he's sketch.
Yeah, we don't see it. Just as Darcy's about to break through his firewall, she sees Vision coming out of the hex, and boom, everything goes to shit. I think it was Billy or Tommy who sensed his father.
Whichever one is Wiccan is the one that
Right,
sends the father.
right. So he senses dad yelling, for help. Darcy runs out and says, "Hey, so while Darcy's out, sitting doing her hacking stuff, Wu and what's the face, they took off. They're like, oh, we're gonna go find our person that's gonna get me back in the hex, so I could talk to Wanda to save her life." um when Wanda figures out where Vision is, because I'm guessing she connects with her child, because I don't think she got it from I don't think she herself got that. I think she connected with Wiccan, right? Because she told him to focus, and then they connected and they found him. She freezes everyone. Before she does that, Pietro says to her, and this is the part where I, after watching it the second time, this is exactly where I was like, you know what? This is definitely not her brother. He says to her, "Oh, your dead husband can't die twice."
Right. And that was the nail in the coffin, because the whole episode was like, this isn't Pietro. This is not Quicksilver. This is definitely Mephisto. I kept saying it, and like that was the nail in the coffin. Like, that's definitely Mephisto.
Right. And then she blasts him off. As soon as she blasts him off, boom, here comes. She freezes everyone and she expands the hex to get to Vision. It's like,
well, not just Vision. She didn't want to just get him. She also wanted to get Hayward's people.
Right.
Because she could have stopped that Vision.
She could have stopped that Vision, and that would have, Darcy wouldn't be inside the hex, and a bunch of people wouldn't be inside the hex.
Dude, did you feel bad for Darcy? Like
yes, I did. And the reason I felt bad for Darcy is because
she didn't want to be in that situation. Yeah, she did not want to be in that situation.
But she got handcuffed to the car, and the dude that cuffed her to the car
ran. I mean, Darcy got the raw end of the deal, and like Darcy, she saw firsthand. Hey, look, going through there is going to mess with my insides,
right?
And like Darcy's been around for Thor and stuff like that, so she's seen what happened with Jane when Jane came in contact with the ether. So Darcy has some level of trauma, like just from interacting in the past with stuff that messes with your chemical makeup. So it's like I think Darcy's like, dude, I don't want no parts of this. And like even when Monica was like, hey, look, we're gonna go when I come back from meeting with my friend that's an hour out of town, we're going in. Darcy's like, you guys could do what you want. I'm not going in there. Darcy's already seen what happens when stuff messes with your chemical makeup. So it's like, now she's confronting something that she really is fearful of firsthand. It's like it kind of sucks.
Right, you heard her say shit. That was kind of like, oh crap, she's in there now.
Yo, wait, time out. Hold up. Before let's stay right there real quick. You know what's also interesting about Darcy, which is real good acting in such a with just small role with such small lines in this episode. In the comics, spoiler alert, Jane Foster has cancer, right?
Cancer, yes.
And the only thing that keeps her alive is Mjolnir.
Yes.
The next Thor movie is Love and Thunder.
Love and Thunder. Yeah.
Which is supposed to be Jane's going to be picking up Mjolnir and taking on the mantle of Thor. What's very interesting is we haven't seen Jane Foster on camera since. Well, we can't count Days of Future Past.
No, don't say Days of Future Past.
I know, but I couldn't help it. I couldn't help it.
You're funny. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Not counting Endgame, right? Definitely not counting Endgame. But it is funny that they use that time period in Endgame to bring that back to your memory. But Thor: Dark World, what wound up happening is she had the ether inside of her skin. I think what they're showing is when humans interact with Infinity Stones, they could get cancer, which is why I think what happened to Maria Rambeau. She got cancer from the interaction with. So what if Jane Foster has a form of cancer from the ether? Darcy knows it because Darcy's friends with Jane Foster.
And that's why
so that's another reason why she's like
Monica.
Yeah.
So she looked really concerned when she was talking to Monica. And you know why it could also be cancer is the fact that she said, I've seen cells go through stuff. I've seen them metastasize. I've seen them in remission. So yeah, they hinted at cancer, at cancer being the thing. Yeah, so I agree with you there. So now that we've discussed the episode at length, right? Everyone, I think Hayward escapes, obviously, because his car makes it.
Yeah. Hayward has somebody on the inside. Remember, Darcy said he
has a way to look on. No. I think it's not someone. I think it's just they have a way to look at vibranium.
Right, but
because that's how they were able to see Vision. They couldn't see on the inside. They just could, they could
They
see
can locate
vision.
Vision,
Yeah,
and they can also
vision.
locate like the people around. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So now that we've kind of discussed the episode at length, two things. Who do you think she's meeting?
I really, really, really want to say Reed Richards, right? But it's not.
Oh man,
I really want to say it's Reed Richards.
that would be fucking crazy. What about Doctor Strange?
Yeah, but why would she? Like, what interaction would she have with him? Why would she know who he is? And she said specifically the last episode, he's like an aerospace engineer. That's not Strange's expertise. That's like, but that would be Reed Richards' expertise.
Mm. Hmm. I
Or,
mean,
I mean, if we're actually going to go there and start bringing in people from the X-Men universe, right? And I don't think the show is shying off from that.
mhm.
I'm wondering, would they go as far as with Hank McCoy? No, Hank McCoy was in aerospace.
No, he was in aerospace.
I don't know. Like the closest person would be Reed Richards, but it can't be.
That would be interesting though. My money's on Strange. Um, I just feel like it just makes sense for Strange, so my money's on Strange. Um, the next question is, as a non-MCU fan, okay, how do you feel about this show up to this point?
I I think that I think it's good. I think it's good. I just feel like the fact that they cut it down by the small episodes hurts it. So as a non MCU fan, it's like why should I stick around? It's not paying.
Right,
The payoff isn't there. Like if
right,
episode 1 and 2 were one episode, episode 3 and episode 4 were all right, episode 1 and 2 now being one episode, episode 3 and 4 now episode 2.
right,
So now you have two almost 60-minute episodes. Maybe you would have had people to stick around more often, like, huh, what's going on here? Or even if
right,
you had episode 1, 2, and 3 as one episode, which I think would
mhm,
have paid off better, would have been perfect.
right.
But
Because I asked
there's no
that
reason
because
for me. Yeah, there's no reason for me to stick around if I'm not already invested in the MCU because it took too long to get to the payoff of episode 4/5.
right. The reason I asked that is because a friend of mine called me today. Oh, have you seen WandaVision? I was like, yeah. Um, what is going on? What do you mean? Well, I'm trying to watch it again because everyone keeps talking about it. So I'm trying to watch it again from episodes. I'm almost at episode 4. I'm like, yo, we're like at episode 6 now. Like, what are you doing? Well, I couldn't really get into it past like the first episode. So I tried, I finally did that. But what the fuck is going on? I watch all the MCU movies. I just don't get this one. And that's why I asked the question. So now the other thing is how would you explain it as the MCU
I,
because
so
if you're explaining it
my cousin came over, right? My cousin came over on Saturday to do my
so
daughter's hair.
let me be specific.
Okay,
I don't want you to put in comics into this because now you're gonna start confusing people who don't read comics.
right.
You're just
My
talking
cousin
to
does
the
not read
basic.
comics.
So you're talking to the person who's watched all the MCU movies and knows that just watches the movies. That's the MCU fan.
Yeah. So my cousin came over, right? And she was like, I watched
Mhm.
the first episode of WandaVision, and at first I didn't like it. And I went back and watched it again. And then after I watched it the second time, I was like, oh wait, there's things that are off. I realized this is a show that I have to watch episodes twice, which is easier to watch twice because they're short episodes. So
Yes.
so for me, I tell people watch the episodes more than once because if you watch the episodes more than once, you'll realize there are things there that are not supposed to be there. If you ever played the game called Among Us, you know like there's always an imposter or something like that, something
Mhm.
out of place. That's what this show is. The show is like a game of Clue. It's not meant to be just a straight linear show. And I'm going to just use that excuse, even though I think this show was supposed to be a linear excuse. I'm gonna just go with that and just say, "Oh, this show is actually doing something genius." It's really not, but it's just what happens to work out that way. But yeah, it's like Blue's Clues. Like you got to watch it again, and if you get a chance to do it a third time, do it a third time. The episodes are like 20 minutes, like 15, 20 minutes, so it's not hurting you, you know.
Right.
So that's
Okay.
the best way to put it. Just watch it more than once. Watch each episode more than once, because you'll see certain thing A to B doesn't track, and it leaves you with questions. So if
Right.
you like the game of Clue, this show's for you. If you like mystery stuff,
Did
this
you
show's for
do
you.
that? Did you do that on purpose? You did that on purpose, didn't you?
I'm a poet and I didn't even know it.
All
Ho!
right. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Episode 6 of WandaVision, all new Halloween Spooktacular. It's been your boy Mo Crosby. It's been the guy, KB, Trap God with the dad bot. Thank you for watching. We will be back next week. Maybe, earlier, because today was just a lot for me. So we'll be back, try to be back earlier to talk WandaVision, have you guys be more engaged. Like, please, engage with us like you did last week. So it'd be nice. Come
It's
back
like
next
2
week.
episodes left. I feel like it's going to pick up. It's what, 2 or 3
Yeah.
episodes? 3,
It's
because
about
we're on episode 6. It's 9
so
episodes.
9 episodes.
Yeah.
So we got three more weeks, man. Let's watch together. Let's see where this goes. It should be very interesting when it gets to where it needs to get to. Hey Kyle,
Yes,
want to
sir.
ask you a favor. What are you doing Sunday? Well, Sunday is Valentine's Day. Sheesh.
Well, I had my daughter's birthday. My youngest daughter's turning 2.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so
Congratulations.
we're going to set up. We're doing a birthday party here for her,
Okay,
and
great.
I think we're gonna break down the trailer for the Snyder Cut.
Yes.
Yeah. So me, my boy Mo, breaking down the trailer for the Snyder Cut.
Breaking down Snyder Cut Z. Oh wait, JLCS. Wait, JLZS.
All right, on the record, I'm going to say this on the record. The Snyder Cut is not a director's cut. It's a remake of a bad movie that I think is going to be worse.
It's a fucking mulligan. You know what? Why are we doing this? But hold on. Before we go, one more thing about WandaVision that I really want to talk about. I was really thinking about and really want to talk about. She is doing what she's doing to Vision without his consent.
Yes.
If you had a problem with that in Wonder Woman 84, you should be revolting and have a problem with this here. And that is all I have to say.
He had a living will, and she's doing the exact thing that he didn't want.
Opposite.
But what if, because we all know that Sword had Vision's body as well. Right. And Sword is working on something bigger, from Darcy's direct words. Right. What if they made Sentinels out of Vision's technology?
Yo,
you're welcome.
You know what? Let's go, because we about to break everybody's brain. See you next week, but see you on Sunday as we break down this trailer. Thank you very much. We'll catch you on the next